Concerned Africans have warned Ecowas, particularly the Nigerian government, not to get themselves involved in the Niger junta. A coup, or maybe a revolution, as some might want to call it, happened, and a lot of people are beginning to look deeper into it. Many Africans are beginning to look deeper into it, and we can hear the chant of Russia, Russia, Putin, 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 come to our aid. And the reason for this, if you've been on this channel, you probably must have heard from Professor Lumumba, where he said there is this sentiment that African leaders or Africans have for Russia because Russia helped during the emancipation. I'm talking about the freedom that many of these African countries thought that they got, although they got it somehow. But we have neo-colonization where a foreign country, Western country, such as France in Niger, will continually rape the country. And obviously, this is done with the support of their rulers. I'm not going to call them leaders. We predicted that should Ecowas or Nigeria involve themselves in a military capacity in Niger, it will result to influx of terrorists, and not just that alone. It will also destabilize the west of Africa somehow. It could lead into influx of migrants here and there. We predicted and we suggested that they should go through the route of diplomacy, and now it seems they are kind of looking at it, but we don't know who is pressuring who is trying to manipulate who. Is it the United States of America via France, or France itself trying to manipulate? The president of France, Macron, threatened, imagine, threatened Niger, asking for reinstatement of the ousted president. And not just that alone, he said anybody, anyone that comes against their own benefit, and you know what it means. He said resources, interest, those are the words he used, interest in Niger will be met with stiff military action. So, are they going to supply Nigeria, supply ECOWAS with weapons to do this, whilst they hide behind the scene, laughing over a cup of tea, saying, let them eat themselves, let them drink their blood, let them eat their own flesh themselves? Let us hear what ECOWAS has to say. Like and share this video, subscribe to this channel.
Express the sincere gratitude of the President of the Ecowas Commission, His Excellency Omar Ali Tary, who would have very much loved to be here, but as you may be aware, as members of the press, there is a very high-level mediation team that is currently in Niger, trying to find a diplomatic solution to the situation. So he could not be here, and he has been giving all the reports of what we've been doing here, and he congratulates members, the chiefs of defense staff of our member state for the contribution that they have made. Over the last 2.5 days, the chiefs of defense staff and their teams have worked round the clock to come up with a concept of operation for an eventual military intervention in the Republic of Niger to restore constitutional order, to ensure the release of the detained president, Mohamed Bazoum, and then to restore constitutional order in the country. All the elements that would go into any eventual intervention have been worked out here and being refined, including the timing, including the resources needed, and including how and where and when we are going to deploy such a force. Everything is being worked out here. But for ECOWAS, the situation is very clear. Our organization is a rules-based institution. We are guided by our protocols, chief of which declare zero tolerance for power obtained or maintained by unconstitutional means. And we are here to make sure that we adhere to that. And let no one be left in doubt about the determination of the heads of state and government of the Ecowas about the need to put an end to the military coup contagion, which, if not stopped today, nobody will know when it is going to end. There is a steely determination by our heads of state and government to put an end to it and to make an example of Niger, to make sure that never again are we going to allow the disruption of the region's move towards democratic consolidation in our region. That is the determination. And that determination is also epitomized by the steely resolve of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who is also the chair of the Ecowas Authority of Heads of State, to make sure, that we never have any more democratic reversals in our region. And those who know about the history of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he was one of the foremost fighters for the return of democracy to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and to West Africa. And today, under his chairmanship, he would not want all the gains that people have actually made through blood and sweat to be swept under the carpet by adventurous military officers in our region. So we are determined to stop it. But ECOWAS is not going to tell the coup plotters when and where we are going to strike. That is an operational decision that will be taken by the heads of state, who are going to be like the commanders-in-chief of this operation. But first, we are giving diplomacy every chance to succeed. There have been multiple approaches to the military junta in Niger. The whole of yesterday, a very high-level delegation from ECOWAS, led by the former head of state of Nigeria, His Excellency General Abubakar Abdusalam, and made up also of the Sultan of Sokoto and the President of the ECOWAS Commission, have been engaging in endless discussions with all stakeholders in the country with a view to seeking a peaceful solution to the hostage situation and the attempted coup. Those negotiations are ongoing. The Federal Republic of Nigeria has also deployed envoys to the regional neighbors who are not even members of ECOWAS in order to explain the position of ECOWAS and to seek their support for every measure that we are going to take. So as you see, war or intervention, military, is not our, option of choice. It is the last resort. We want diplomacy to work, and we want this message clearly transmitted to the leaders of the junta in Niger, that we are giving them every opportunity to reverse what they have done and to return the country to constitutional order. That failing, all other measures will be on the table, including the military option. And this meeting here, over the past 2.5 days, is a clear demonstration of that steely determination. The results of whatever has been achieved here will be presented very soon to the heads of state and government, who will have the last say as to what we are going to do with regard to the situation in the Republic of Niger, provided that all our overtures, diplomatic overtures, do not yield result. So I want through this media also to appeal, to the military in Niger to give peace a chance, and then to think about their populations and then to do the right thing by immediately restoring constitutional order in their country. That is our message to them. If they don't, then we will make them hand over to civilian authorities. And that is the determination of Ecowas. And we want to send that message clearly across to all of them.
Well, the response of Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali is this: we are ready for any military intervention from ECOWAS or from maybe the puppet master, France or whoever. We are ready to defend ourselves. We are ready to defend with our blood. Enough is enough. We will not sit down and allow our country to be raped continuously by these criminals. We will not. We will fight any military that comes. We will see them as enemies and we'll fight them to finish. Some might say the military might of Nigeria, in general, ECOWAS, might be much more stronger. But when people are resilient and they are ready to go all the way, they will be ready to do what they want to do. And you know, Burkina Faso, Mali, and more countries are ready to join. They say yes, we will be joining. I think Guinea and some other countries, they say we will be joining. Enough is enough. We have to put an end. In fact, majority of these francophone countries that have not benefited from this parasitic relationship of the West, they are standing by Niger. If you look at the population of Niger, you see majority, apart from politicians, you see majority applauding the junta, applauding the military for taking over. Now, I want to suggest also that the military should do the needful. We've had cases such as this in Nigeria where the military takes over from the civilian rule, claiming that or alleging corruption and all of that. But at the end of the day, we realize that the military is as worse as a civilian. They are all criminals. That's just what it is. So it's about integrity now. If you hijack power, are you hijacking because you also want to have a share of the loot, of the largesse, of your resources? Do you want to have a share of it, keep to yourself, whilst you keep your entire population in poverty, impoverished? Is that what it is? Look at the resources in Niger and look at what comes to them. From what we heard, example, a gram of uranium, of course they have other resources, but let us look at uranium, which is the major in Niger. A gram of uranium could be sold for 250 euros on the market by France to whoever they want to sell to. But the return to Niger is like 10 euros. Just imagine that. Of course, there will be kickbacks, bribes, and all of that given to their greedy politicians. But you know the funniest of it all, apart from some couple of houses owned by some of these politicians in their country, couple of houses, and maybe outside of their country, probably in other African countries, majority of them will go to this francophone country to buy properties that you can never lift that property off from the land when you die, when you pass away, or your children. It's terrible. It is terrible. And these Western countries, they know how wicked African rulers are to themselves. They know that majority, I'm not saying all, they're exceptional Africans, they know that they are wicked to themselves. The Western countries, Europeans, which consist of the United States, they are all Europeans. They just moved there. All of them together, they have that, sense of humanity when it comes to dealing with themselves. But when it comes to dealing with foreigners, particularly Africans, they treat you as wicked, as evil as you can ever think of. Like and share this video, subscribe to this channel. See you in the next update.